Today in our Sunday Spotlight, 2 state senators are taking on a carbon challenge in the next week, and they're hoping you will too. So how will it work and what's the point? Here were some answers on that. One of those state senators, State Senator Will Haskell. He represents the 26th district. Senator Haskell, thank you for being with us. Tell us about this. What are you guys doing?
Well, thanks so much for having me, Eric. Senator Cohen and I have spent the last few months working on Senate Bill 4, Connecticut's Clean Air Act, and we hope that it's getting close to being called for a vote in the General Assembly. It would invest in green infrastructure, helping to reduce carbon emissions from the transportation sector, and make sure that the air we breathe makes us healthy, not sick, in the state of Connecticut. But look, we're big believers in the fact that politicians, they can't just talk the talk, they also have to walk the walk. So next week, we're going to demonstrate how we individually can reduce our own carbon footprint, and we're inviting our fellow legislators and our constituents to join us in that journey. It's called the Connecticut Carbon Challenge, and we're going to be thinking outside the box as to how we can protect clean air by just making a few small decisions about how we get to work and how we move around our district, how we go grocery shopping. For example, we'll be carpooling to work. We'll be taking public transit to get to the state capitol. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
So you mentioned Senator Cohen. That's Senator Christine Cohen who's doing this along with you. And you're trying to get people to use hashtag CT Carbon Challenge, right, to say what they're doing. And you mentioned walking the walk. Well, I guess if you're going to reduce your carbon footprint, you might literally have to walk the walk and leave your car at home or do something else. So give me some ideas of what, if somebody's watching this and says, yeah, Senator Haskell, I want to do this. What are some things they can do?
Sure. Well, Senate Bill 4 is all about investing in bike infrastructure, pedestrian infrastructure, electric vehicles, public transit that belongs in the 21st century. So we want to put all of those multimodal transit options on display. On Tuesday, I'll be taking the local Westport Transit District bus from my apartment to the train station. I'll hop on the train and I'll ride it to New Haven. I'll transfer trains, and then Senator Cohen and I will jointly travel to the state capitol. We'll get off at the Hartford station just across Bushnell Park from the state capitol, and we'll walk about a half mile to work. It's going to be a multimodal day that I think demonstrates that you don't always have to commute using your car, especially if you drive one of those internal combustion engines that makes our climate crisis a little bit worse. On Wednesday, our hours are a little bit less predictable and public transit isn't the best option. So I'm going to be joining my colleague, Senator Duff, who represents a community right next to mine, and we're going to carpool up to the state Senate together, effectively reducing our carbon footprint by half. So there's a lot of different ways that folks can, whether it's biking to work, walking to work, taking public transit, carpooling with a friend, there's no shortage of ways to reduce your carbon footprint. And we want to put some of those on display as we travel to and from work next week. I hope that our constituents will decide to do the same. Starting tomorrow on Monday, if you're doing something, even the smallest decision that reduces your carbon footprint, let us know on social media and tag CT Carbon Challenge. We want this to be an inclusive endeavor where we all learn from one another and get ideas from each other.
Yeah, I asked you before we started, is this a nationwide thing? And you said, well, maybe we're starting a nationwide thing. So this is something where if some people in Connecticut say, you know, we're just going to make a choice that might be good for the environment, you want to know about it and hopefully spread the word.
That's exactly right, Eric. And look, some people might find out in the course of doing this that it's hard to reduce their carbon footprint. Maybe there isn't a good public transit bus that brings them to their local train station. Maybe when they're riding that train, they're frustrated that it's slower today than it was in the 1970s. That's exactly why we're pushing to bring Senate Bill 4 to a vote. We want to direct more state resources to green transit options so that, you know, going forward, our kids in Connecticut and our grandkids can breathe clean air and drink clean water. We know that 38% of carbon emissions come from the transportation sector. So I have the privilege of serving as the Senate chairman of the Transportation Committee. Senator Cohen serves as the Senate chair of the Environment Committee, and we're working together to figure out what policy solutions are available to reduce our carbon footprint as a state and give folks more options as to how they commute and how they move around town.
All right, Senator Haskell, we have to leave it there. We're all out of time. We'll be watching for that hashtag. State Senator Will Haskell, thanks for being with us here on CT22.